Hello and welcome to the AgriHQ Livestock Insight Report Update brought to you by the AgriHQ Analyst. I'm Nicola.
And I'm Friel.
And we're going to take a look at last week's North Island and South Island Livestock Insight Report updates. Let's start with the front page. Sarah, you had a great article there on supplies, lamb supplies that is, and the winter contracts. Talk us through that.
Yeah, so basically everyone will be aware by now of those really enticing winter trade contracts that have been offered by a few companies at this stage. They're pushing the $8 mark in June, and when you look at current farmgate prices around that mid-6, it is pretty exciting. However, there are penalties if farmers can't meet their supply obligations, and if you're not a set-up winter finisher, then that might be a bit of a stretch for you. So a lot of people are still interested in sticking to their knitting, targeting the spot market in spring, which if we look at those winter trade contracts and noises from processors that they're going to meet the market at that level anyway, then it could be pretty good news for spring farmgate prices. And if we pair that with Beef and Lamb New Zealand's mid-season update, which said that it is going to be a constricted lamb kill this season, then it's all kind of in favours of farmers having a pretty positive return in the springtime, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess the question is what happens when the supply lifts again with the new season lambs. But if we look at the export markets, with the US reopening, we've got China looking pretty strong. We've got a lack of Australian supplies. So I don't know. I'd say it's looking pretty rosy, and we'll see how that goes. On the slaughter side of things, the US market, the US beef market that is, was rallying further on the back of tight supply. Tight supply is really the theme for the export markets at the moment. So we were seeing some positivity in farmgate prices for both beef and cattle down here as things picked up. But that's a bit of an interesting trend. Like usually during Easter, plants are full anyway. They're certainly full now because we've been dealing with, backlogs and slow bookings for a while now. So it is kind of interesting to see prices rise as supply, while supplies are still pretty thick. We've got those dairy cows coming out now, and that should keep a bit of a lid on cattle prices. Usually it would push the prices way down, but I just don't think that we have the room to go further down. We're starting off a pretty low base. So we'll just have to see where that's going. So that's looking rosy as well down here. Shipping and storage is still a major concern, and that's definitely something that could upset things.
In the North Island, like I've been saying for a few weeks now, completely different situation. We're quite low on cattle hitting the processors at the moment, and those 2 short weeks courtesy of Easter was a bit of a saving grace for processors. So we did see a bit of a lift in farmgate cattle prices last week. Not much of an indication of that carrying on into this week. Again, like you said, Nicola, they're really counting on those cows coming through because of drying conditions in the Bay of Plenty and Waikato and people wanting to get down to their winter stocking units. However, we did have that rain come through, and Taranaki, if anyone got a lot of it, Taranaki did. And as a big cow catchment, processors might be looking short again in the future. So that'll be an interesting market to keep an eye on. And on the lamb side of things, like I said before, processors have said that they're going to meet the market on those winter trade contracts, and we're only 4 weeks from May now, so the clock's ticking, and prices did lift last week. There's a bit of an indication it might happen again this week, so yeah, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that one too.
Yep, for sure. And in the store side of things, down here it was a bad week to try and offload older cattle, not a market for them. The calves held up, even though we haven't had any rain. The calf market's held up. There's some cautiousness and fussiness there around the heifers. And also some fussiness with store lambs as well. I think if we were to get some rain, but I think we're still a little while off for rain, at least it's looking like another warm, dry week. But if we were to get some rain, I think that store lamb market would pick up. We've got a lot of South Island calf sales on the books for this week. That's going to test the market, and we'll just sort of see where that lands. If it's another warm, dry week, which it seems like it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see how many buyers show up for those.
Yeah, in the North Island, a lot of agents were saying, give it another week to see if this rain makes a big difference. As it stands, weaner prices seem to strengthen a little bit last week, so that's excellent. Older cattle prices have remained really flat for about a month now. People just aren't that interested in taking those cattle on while weaners are available, just a safer bet for holding over winter. And on the lamb side of things, the market surged a bit more last week. People kind of preempted that rain we got. And there's, just people getting into the market. They're excited by those contracts. They're excited by the idea that the slaughter market might lift, but right now the store market is quite a bit hotter than farmgate prices.
Okay, and then looking for this week's report, quite interested to see where those South Island calf sales end up. Also interested to see how the export markets react, whether or not they continue to rally. And you're doing a bit of a look at wool.
Yes, we'll have a bit of a wool update for everyone to see how that market's tracking, and there'll also be a piece in the report based on beef and lamb's expenditure findings on farm in the mid-season update. So it'll be interesting to pour through that.
Yeah. Are farmers making any money? And even more importantly, are they spending any money? So all that'll be in your inbox on Friday. If you're a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, head along to agrihq.co.nz, get yourself sorted out.